Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good wherever you are. I'm your host, That Lit Astro Chick, the channel where we discuss the natal charts of authors, artists, and anyone else that I find interesting. For today's natal chart, I thought that I would do a very quick reading that's going to be based on some viral news that's gone on. I'm sure if you've been on the internet, you've most likely seen the news about Diddy's raid, the legal documents that have been released, as well as the rapper 50 Cent having his own opinions about it. And then it turns out that 50's, I'm not sure if she's his girlfriend, but his previous girlfriend, the child of, the mother of one of his children, the youngest child, Daphne Joy, was named in the reports. And some people are speculating on whether or not she was one of the women who serviced Diddy. To put it politely, I don't want to go completely down the rabbit hole about the commentary for this. So I thought, since I haven't seen anybody pull up the chart yet, it might be fun to just pull up Miss Daphne Joy's natal chart to see if there is any validity towards what has been alleged. So I just wanted to get right into this. According to the Googles that I was able to find on Daphne Joy, she was born on February 8th, 1987, and I hope I don't mispronounce this, Olongapo, Philippine Islands. So the first thing that I noticed about her chart is the prominence of the number 8. So not only was she born on the 8th, but she is also a life path 8. And the number 8 in astrology is going to refer to Saturn. So she would be someone who would be very much concerned about her leadership abilities as well as about her public image. She is somebody that has a real strong desire for power, as well as money, and that is also enhanced by the fact that her asteroid Juno, which refers to the themes that are going to be present in our relationships, is also in Capricorn, which is represented by Saturn, which is once again that number 8 energy. So she is definitely somebody who cares a lot about finances and a lot about her money. And in addition to that, because she was born on the 8th, she is also somebody that cares a lot about manifesting that positive public image, which is likely why she has come out recently and said that she not involved in these allegations and that they are false and that she has never done this. However, a lot of people are also alleging that if she was named in these legal documents, could there be some validity to those claims? My guess is that they're not going to go so far as to release her name publicly unless they do have some evidence against those claims. And I would say astrologically, because of this heavy Capricorn energy, being born on the 8th, having a life path of 8, as well as having her Venus and her Juno, both of those are in Capricorn, she is somebody who cares a lot about finances. Oh, and I take that back. I'm actually going to get to this next part. But also her Neptune is in Capricorn as well. So she is the type of person who really does fantasize about finances, who really does desire a life that's going to be centered around having financial security as well as a public image. Capricorn is known as being the madams of the zodiac. I like to refer to them as being the Heidi Fleiss. Because for women that have a lot of Capricorn energy in their chart, they could either be career women to where they're very ambitious and they want to get it themselves, or they could, like Daphne, they could be more of the gold digging type. And I do not say that to be critical. I'm saying that one of her requirements for when she steps into any type of a relationship or an arrangement is going to be that she is taken care of and that she receives a financial come up. And astrologically speaking, I do see this very strongly within her chart. Next point is that her Venus and her Neptune are both conjunct in Capricorn. So that Venus Capricorn conjunction, it can bring about somebody who's willing to embrace the shadier aspects of themselves in order to achieve whatever it is that they want. This also means that she could be somebody who could be very much focused on achieving that. It might make her someone who's going to be very sensitive. It might make her somebody who could be very much into her creativity. It could also make her somebody who is willing to lie or hide or engage in shady activity in order to obtain whatever it is that she wants to obtain. I also would wonder with this Venus conjunct Neptune, what is it that she's doing behind closed doors that we don't know about? And this definitely does kind of bring a height into that claim that there's definitely more than meets the eye when it comes to this. I really see this as being an aspect to where she could do something kind of strange for some change, you know what I mean? Or she would be open to a more non-traditional partnership, something that is going to not have any boundaries, because Neptune refers to where your boundaries would dissolve. And Venus is a planet that also deals with your income because it's ruled by that second house of value. So I do wonder deep down inside if there is something that she would be willing to do behind the scenes if it helps her with achieving this fantasy that she might have of herself. Another aspect to where she could have a very unusual approach is because of her moon. So I don't know the exact time of when she was born. However, for that particular day in her chart, she definitely would have had a Gemini moon, and she also has her Chiron in Gemini. So there could be something kind of unusual about the way that she thinks about women, or how she thinks about home, because the moon deals with the fourth house matters of home, as well as what is buried deep within our subconscious. Maybe she has some wounding about her beginnings. I don't know much about them, but they do seem like they most likely are very humble. She might also possibly find parenthood to be transformative, or she could also find it to be a very big struggle. And one sign that it could be a struggle for her is because she does have her Lilith in Cancer, and her Lilith is once again at that 8th degree. See, we got that number 8 coming up again. Lilith, typically speaking, is uncomfortable when it's in Cancer because it's going to refer to someone who has very negative connotations when it comes to their home, as well as when it comes to race or ethnicity. I'm wondering if that has something to do with why she could have had a child with 50 Cent, or why she could have shown up in these documents. Maybe she does feel a type of way when it comes to her heritage, and as well as that community, because she does have her Chiron. It's either conjunct or it's running parallel to her moon. So Chiron in general, it's going to refer to an exception that we have to take somewhere. And since it's conjunct a major planet in her chart, this could refer to perhaps where she might feel a sense of like a lack of community, or maybe even a sense of duality that she might have within herself. And maybe that could pertain to that public image that she has of either being this very upstanding person. I know that she has millions of followers. She's a very beautiful woman. I do see that as being maybe where there could be something kind of unusual going on with that. And then maybe behind closed doors, she could be this other person. She could be the Jew person. She could be the Neptunian person. And that's not something that we're ever going to know about. I also believe that this is something that she would want to keep under wraps, especially in terms of her subconscious, because she does have her Mercury at that 6th degree of Pisces. And Mercury is in its detriment when it's in Pisces. It's going to refer to being very shut down in terms of the way that she communicates. So she would not be the type of person who would want to have anything get out about her that isn't going to speak specifically to something that might make her look bad. She really does not want that, as I can tell with this chart in particular. Another aspect that I think is interesting is that her Jupiter squares her Uranus. So typically speaking, when you have this in someone's chart, this is somebody where either like their will might be weakened when it comes to brand new ideas, or they might be someone who could be so overconfident that they're going to be able to get away with something, or they'll be able to get to do something. Another aspect of this Jupiter square Uranus is that maybe she thought that she was going to get away with this, or maybe she thought that this would be something that would always be very, very... She also has her Saturn conjunct her Uranus, and both of those are in Sagittarius. So Saturn in Sagittarius, it's going to refer to somebody to where eventually in lifetime, they have to learn how to be more honest. And I think that because it is conjunct to that Uranus, it might be a little bit of a struggle for her to really open up in that way. Or maybe this could be another shutdown aspect. And I say that because she also, once again, does have her Chiron running in opposition to her Saturn. So this could refer to a transformation that she'll have to take, or a major setback that, she'll have to overcome. And this could be the setback that she has. So that I thought that was very, very interesting. I do see this as in, just looking from her chart, this isn't something that she would want people to know about, because she once again has that opposition to Saturn. So maybe she might be someone who could be very depressed in terms of the mask that she might be creating. She also has her moon in opposition to Uranus. This could also, put her in positions to where she could be feeling very objectified. Maybe she feels objectified in terms of her home, how she parents. Maybe she could even feel objectified by men, because, the moon that deals with our emotions, and Saturn, that deals with men, it deals with fathers in our lives. So that could be another aspect. Another aspect that I noticed that could be really important to this is that she does have a man-eater aspect in her chart. And I say that because, like Edith Wharton, who I covered yesterday, she also has her sun squaring her Pluto. So typically speaking, sun square Pluto people, they're going to be set up for lives that are going to have very, very transformations to them. There's going to be a lot of explosive aspects about their lives, because there is who they want to be, and then there is, generationally speaking, what is expected from their peers around them. She could possibly, with this setup, either be someone who could be manipulated, specifically when it comes to the matters of men, money, children, and investments, because, the sun, this deals with the issues with our father, as well as with regarding those fifth house matters. And then when it comes to Pluto, which would be your support, there could be a potentiality that's maybe more difficult for her to access, especially because depending on her birth time, she also could have her moon in quincunx to Pluto, and that's going to refer to an adjustment that she would have to make at some point. However, that support may not have been available for her, so she could automatically be set up to be someone who could be very much about having a sense of self, someone who could be very much invested in terms of her money and her public image. However, behind closed doors, that's going to be a really different person. That's going to be a very different person. There is so much about her that we don't know. And maybe we're not supposed to know it. We're not supposed to know about this conflict. It just kind of shows up with the coordinates, because she has her sun at that 18th degree of Aquarius, drops down to 9. That's going to be a number that will be very much centered around conflict. And then her Pluto is at the 9th degree of Scorpio. Once again, we got that Mars number. And on top of that, she has her North Node in Aries. So she most likely came from many lifetimes where she was focused more on bringing people together and more focused on others. There could have perhaps been some themes around codependency. I wouldn't be surprised if something like this had happened with 50 Cent, or if he had activated her in some way, because her Chiron is conjunct to his sun, because not her Chiron, her Lilith is conjunct to her sun, because 50 Cent is also a Cancer. And I believe his sun squares his Pluto as well. However, in this lifetime, she is supposed to learn how to be on her own, as well as to be more self-reliant. She's supposed to embrace the identity of what she is right now, and she's supposed to be doing for herself. But I could see how, with this setup in the chart, there could have been more of a desire to go about that within a very roundabout way, as opposed to maybe going about it in a way that's going to have more conflict, that's going to be centered around it. And because I don't want this to be too long, I did want to go over some of the asteroids that I've seen in her chart. So I'm sure most of you know I'm self-taught. I've been self-taught for a very long time, but I did want to have more time to take a look at those at those asteroids that I've seen. So an asteroid that I did think was kind of interesting is that she has the asteroid Daphne. It looks like her asteroid Daphne is conjunct to her Jupiter. So Daphne refers to something that we go hunting for. And it could be that for Daphne, and discussing the asteroid Daphne, she could have been somebody who could have gone hunting for maybe a thirst for knowledge, or maybe for dealing with other people, because Jupiter in Pisces especially is going to refer to a voyage. But this is something that she would have gone searching for. She would have gone searching for that good faith in some way. And another interesting one is that she has the asteroid Groom, which refers to ways in which either we could be groomed or where we could groom other people. That is conjunct to her Venus. That to me was the tell that I think that there actually could be something to what's going on in this legal file, that she could have been groomed by somebody earlier in her life to maybe have taken the place of being a madam, or maybe being somebody who was involved in S work at some point. Another interesting asteroid that I see is the asteroid Lancelot. And Lancelot as an asteroid, it's going to refer to adultery. That is at the 29th degree, so that's going to refer to the anoretic degree. That's a lot of third-party situations. And that is conjunct to her Venus as well as to her Neptune. So yeah, I do think that there's something very unusual that might be going on in terms of the configurations that she has for love life. This is going to refer to someone who will be very bold, who will be very unconventional in terms of their approach. You know what I mean? Another aspect for that is that she has the asteroid Sappho, which refers to same-sex attraction. That is also conjunct to her Jupiter as well. So I wonder if maybe she could have been paid to be with women, or maybe if she could have been had an interest in women, and this is something that she also wants to keep quiet about, which she has every single right to. Another asteroid that I thought was very interesting is that she also has is Bounty, and that is conjunct to her sun as well as to her midheaven. So eventually we were all going to see something about Daphne Joy that could have been unflattering. Now, I know that she does have millions of followers on Instagram, and her sun is conjunct to her midheaven. The midheaven in Aquarius is going to refer to possibly a career on the internet, as well as having a lot of drastic outcomes. And I did see that, where she could have made her bag off the internet. She could have, formulated who she was going to be based off of those things. So there was going to be a lot of really good fortune that was going to be there. And I think that the last asteroid that I'm going to talk about is going to be Icarus. Now, Icarus, it can refer to our downfall that we might have. So it could be something that we might be doing again and again, to where we might get too and then possibly experience some sort of karma towards that. And that is also conjunct to her sun as well as to her midheaven. Interesting. I think that is, I just think that is very interesting, because to me, that points to where perhaps she could have maybe gotten more confident with the idea that nothing was going to happen to her. This will be the last one. Another asteroid that I found to be kind of interesting is that she does have the asteroid Hebe. Now, not everybody has this in their chart, but I don't have this in my chart, but she does. Now, the asteroid Hebe can refer to like a tragedy that we might experience, and that is conjunct to her Neptune, her Saturn, as well as to her Uranus in Capricorn. No, I'm sorry, it's conjunct to her Venus, her Saturn, as well as her Uranus. So I'm wondering, a possible interpretation of this could be I'm wondering maybe if she had the baby for like a grab bag. I'm wondering if that could be part of it. I'm also wondering if maybe a part of it could be that she relied on her beauty in order to get her through for these shadier activities, maybe with the expectation that she wasn't going to be found out about it. And then, unfortunately or fortunately, she was. And then we still got this Icarus asteroid that could deal with this being the start of her downfall. I don't know what's going to happen with her at the end of this. And, I think that we'll just kind of have to watch this one play out. But I did just want to come through and do another natal chart. I'm going to try and do these a little bit more often. However, as I've always said, if you want a natal chart read, I'll go ahead and I'll include my email in the description below. This now concludes the natal chart reading of Daphne Joy. Thank you very much, and I hope you tune into the next video.